All right, guys, let's kick it off. So, do any of you, before I actually jump into, do any of you guys, did you lose me a second? I think I muted myself
Yeah,
on
say
the
that
last
again.
Do any of you guys pres- prescribe to the professional coach? Those emails that go out, those are,
I think I get those. Yeah.
they're pretty good. I'm trying to stay a little more up to date with them, just in general. They're trying, from what it seems, is they're trying to put a much more aggressive effort into it in coaching development than they have in the past because they used to come out like once every 3 months. I would get an email, and now I'm starting to get an email like every other week. So if you aren't on that, I would recommend getting on it. Topics are all over the place for it, but there definitely some good stuff. And then just before I jump into, because I stole one of them from the last email that we're going to talk about today. Um, I got a chance to go to the affiliate summit for the South Central affiliates here. Really, really good. If you guys get an opportunity, or you have it doesn't, you don't have to be a part of the gym even. If you just have a gym owner friend that doesn't want to go, does want to go, they're allowed two guests. So if you know people that aren't going to go and take advantage of that, and you get the chance, I highly recommend going. My level threes out there, you guys can get CEUs for going. They'll credit you, but really really good information. It was really nice to hear some of the updates that CrossFit's doing for affiliates. It made me feel a lot better about that in general and affiliation fees and stuff like that. We can get into that a little later on if you guys want to hear more about it. But I didn't want to forget, if you all get the chance, go to that thing. They're worth it. They're definitely not a waste of time. Bring a notebook because you'll come out of there on fire from all your ideas that you'll want to implement, or you'll come out very upset on the things your gym could be doing better. It can go both ways. So just a heads up. Um, all right, so our we're going to talk about whiteboard briefs. Pulled that article from the professional coach. Nicole Christensen wrote it. She kind of wrote it more about how she does it at Roots, which I think is very spot on to how I feel about it. Um, we're going to go through just general what makes a good whiteboard brief from a workout perspective. But then I want to talk about some of the potentially more important things that should happen on that I think helps, you know, build our culture, build our community, and things like that within the gym as well. So before I even get there, this is a trick question, but I want you guys to always be thinking outside the box. When does your coaching start?
Since you get into the gym, like you're supposed to
Yeah,
be there 15 minutes before, right there is when you start.
yeah. It starts before class, right? So when you get to the gym, it starts. The reason I bring that up is y'all have probably heard this a million times, but when you're there, even if you're not due to coach, you're coaching. You're on. You're at your job. They look at you as a coach. You're working, even though you're not necessarily on schedule. Um, that being said, sometimes you got to set yourself little boundaries, or else you'll never get to take care of yourself. So I understand that too. But yeah, when you're there before class, like you are now coaching. It's investigative time, right? I'm gonna be like, "What's up, Holly? How you been? Haven't seen you in a little bit. What's going on?" She may be like, "Awesome! I ran a triathlon and I'm the fittest I ever been, and I'm ready to PR this brand today." Or she may be like, "Work's been crazy and I've been sleeping 3 hours a night." And I go, "Oh, okay. Well, let's just move today." And I now know, even though she didn't tell me about an injury, I now know today might not be the day to really get into it and really go as hard as we can. Today might be the day to just move. Or it could be I threw my arm out throwing the ball for my dog, right? And my shoulder's feeling weird. So it's investigative time, it's analysis time, and we can start to gather info on what I'm gonna maybe do for this individual in class. And then just to build on that, obviously create a better community, right? Community is thrown around so much. And I think the people that throw that word around the most are the ones that do the worst job at it, right? Because the ones that do a good job, they're the ones that they're already having conversations, not just talking the talk. So those combos, it can be CrossFit related or as dumb as what their favorite sushi is, right? It doesn't matter. It's creating connections, it's creating those bonds. So coaching definitely starts before class. I also like to, if I have a member that is very clearly not going to be able to do what we're doing today, I like to go ease their mind. So we've got a guy, he's big, he's on his journey. We're doing a bar muscle up cycle right now. I know he comes in and he's like, oh, fuck, here we go again. We got bar muscle ups again. And I'm like, okay, Mike, this is what we got today. You're going to do the same EMOM, but in this minute, you're going to do XYZ. In this minute, you're going to do XYZ. We're going to keep working the grip strength. We're going to keep working your pull strength and just get you to where we need to go over time. So he knows, one, I've already thought of him. I've made a plan. That's caring without saying caring, right? And then he's like, oh, thank goodness. I don't have to try to do these like box bar muscle up jumps that I thought I was going to die because that's what Wodify says. So I also like to take the time for that, like special population. We'll call it special population. Take that time and put out fires of anxiety if you can. Let's talk about the actual whiteboard, right? Call class on over enthusiastically. Not like, oh, send coach, right? I know that is a no-brainer, but I've seen it happen plenty of times. So enthusiastically bringing class over. What would you guys start, besides saying hello, what would you guys start off with? One can be a very gym-related thing. The other one, I think, is we should do regardless of your gym.
Announcements and
Yeah.
checking with everyone about injuries or
Yeah, you can. I'm going to come back to the injury thing. I am going to circle on that. And I'll explain why on that. Announcements for sure, right? Our gym, our policy is, hey, say it now, because if you say it when they're done with the workout, world is spinning. They don't hear what you say. You're screaming over people putting things back. Nothing's going to be heard. So hitting it when they're fresh and their attention's there, I think is the best time. I also strongly feel when it comes to announcements and events, if the coaches are on board and they're excited, so will everyone else. If the coaches are not on board and they're not going to participate and they're not really that excited, it's going to be an absolute fail, no matter how good the marketing is in their face that this event exists. So if you're a coach and you're like, this is so dumb, tell your friends it's dumb. Act like you're pumped for whatever it is that's coming. Because so Jim thrives off things like that sometimes, and so do other coaches. So announcements for sure. I'm gonna come back to injuries, Jose. What's another one before we get into the WOD? This is the big one, I think. I know y'all have done it. Welcome people. Maybe it's Deanna's first day, right? Maybe she's, and I've done a poor job recently, but I'm trying to really get back to it. Yeah, welcome her. Hey, Deanna's in class today, guys. She's gonna be joining us. She's dropping in. She's from Puerto Rico. Give her a little golf clap, welcome her, say hi as we go through class, or a free trial, right? Free trial, especially. They're not used to CrossFit, so their nerves are probably through the roof. So, hey, Jose's trying CrossFit for the first time. Like, hell yeah, we love that. And hype them up, just so they feel warm and welcome, right? If that person walks in the gym and they're not immediately grabbed and like conversated with and calmed down, I think that first 60-second window is very telling. Are they going to come back? And I would confidently say that into what I just see on a day-to-day basis. So that first 60 seconds, getting them and then introducing them to the group or introducing them to people is getting ready to go is always a good idea too. Especially if you find something in common with that person, right? You hear Jose, the free trial, has visited Puerto Rico. Dee's from Puerto Rico. You go, oh, wait, he's visited it. He was just telling me. And then, oh, now you guys are best friends, right? Not yet. Later on, you'll build best friends. So just welcoming them. Same thing with old members, or not old members, but members that maybe went on vacation, or maybe they were out because they had a baby or whatever it is. Just, hey, welcome back, Gina. You don't have to say she's been out, but like the welcome back is nice. I remember when I was at my first CrossFit gym, I missed a month because of school. And then I didn't want to go back because what I thought in my head was I'm going to go back and they're not going to remember who I am because I don't think they know my name. I went back, I think, 2 more times. I don't think they remembered who I was or what my name was. And I quit the gym. I never went back there again. Right. So those little things, the notices of people out and welcoming them back go a long, long way. We got that stuff done. Let's talk.
To that point, I think it's also very important to say hello to everybody, like
Oh, yeah.
before even starting, like acknowledge with their name that they're here.
110%. Yeah, that so no brainer. I went right over that, but yeah, that you're not wrong. I see that happen all the time. People come in, they kind of only look around, they stare around, they go find their spot, and the coach just doesn't even bat an eye. I'm going to tell you right now, they don't like that coach very much. I don't care how good they are. They're kind of like, that coach doesn't give a fuck about me. So it doesn't matter if you're a level 4 seminar staff and you created CrossFit with Glassman. You don't care about it. You know, it comes down to that. So yeah, you're 100% right. Have you ever heard me talk about the 10-10 rule? I don't know if I brought that up on this call. It's from Publix. It's one of their rules, the grocery store Publix, and most of you guys know what that is. 10 feet, 10 seconds. If someone's within 10 feet of you, you have to acknowledge them. No ifs, ands, or buts. And your goal is to acknowledge everyone within your close vicinity within 10 seconds. So like the way they did it is if you are a cashier and I'm doing my thing, right? And I got someone right in front of me. I'm obviously going to conversate with them. We have our lines we're supposed to give them. And then the next customer comes behind like, hey, how you doing today? I don't have to conversate, but I know you're there. I try to use that rule in the gym and I think it's very effective. 10 seconds. Our gyms are not that big to where I can't yell across and be like, hey, what's up, Jose? Doesn't mean we're going to scream at each other and combo across, but Jose knows I saw him. I said hi immediately. And sometimes that's what we need after a shitty day of work, right? That can kind of turn the day around right there. So that's a challenge for you. 10 seconds of somebody coming in, get them. Get them. Be egregious about it and get them. Anatomy of an actual whiteboard brief. So now we're talking meat and potato science of what we want to do. What's the first thing I'm going to do? I know y'all know this.
Say the workout just has it out how it's written.
Yeah, literally just read the workout. Easier said than done. And the reason I'm going to say that is all the time coaches start going, occasionally I'll do this too, and get a little excited about one of the movements. And you end up, for the bar muscle ups today, we can scale to X, Y, Z. And I'm like, God damn it, I just broke the flow of my workout, right? It happens to all of us. So try to just read it straight through, right? Straight through, like it's a kid. Don't take anything. Don't assume anything. 21 thrusters, 21 pull-ups, 15 thrusters, 15 pull-ups, and then we're gonna finish with 9 and 9. Like literally read like that. I made the mistake the other day when I first got to Austin. It was like maybe my second week back in coaching from my little hiatus, and we had a 40, 30, 20. I had a free trial that thought he was going to do 40 reps, that he had to hold on to the dumbbell, that he got a break, and then instead of moving to the second movement, that he had to do 30 reps of the same dumbbell movement, unbroken, got a break, and then 20 reps. He thought that's how the workout worked. Instead of going 30 reps on the dumbbell, then to that other movement and back and forth. So as simple as it is in our, jargony CrossFit talk, keep it like you're talking to a little kid. Foolproof yourself, basically. Is it a little redundant and it feels like it? 100%. If I've got you guys in my class and it's 21:15 9 Fran, I know you guys. I can say 21:15, right? But if I've got one person that I'm unsure of, be like you're talking to a kid. What's next? Quite arguably the most important part, besides getting the workout right. Yeah, stimulus. So big one here, especially for us that have programming that is being given to us. Focus on the intent, what the stimulus is, what that time domain is. Do not focus on the time cap. If you focus on the time cap, you're now setting the intention. You have all this extra time to get this done, right? And then you have athlete A, oh, I have 8 minutes to do Fran. I can put on 95 pounds in the bar, right? And they're not focused on, oh shit, I have 6 minutes to do Fran. I don't think I can get 95 pounds in the bar and get that done. So if you focus on the intent and the stimulus of the time or the load, if it's like a heavy day, you are already layering and staging yourself for good decisions from them that you're not going to have to fight as much, right? I forgot to tell my team, so I'll probably cause havoc at 12, but this morning, Mayhem always gives us time caps. I erased them. I didn't tell them what it was when they asked. I said, no, 7 to 9 minutes. That's our goal. You know what happened? Class A, that I let them see the time cap, almost everybody capped, barely made it. Class B, my 7:30 a.m. that I didn't let them see it, my slowest time missed the stimulus by 20 seconds. So you see, it's just the thought process that they automatically have going in. So focus on intent, not how long do you have that I'm going to make you stop. And that can be for a heavy day too. Heavy day intent is obviously getting heavy, but it could be like with the stipulation, hey, we're front squatting today. As long as we can keep that shoulder behind the toes, and keep that torso upright, we're good to keep building. Or as long as you maintain our range of motion, we can build. As soon as that doesn't happen, we don't build anymore. We come back down. So it could be something like that too. All right, we've got our intent. Now I got to give you the path to get there. Scaling would be next, right? Not just load, reps. You could utilize times. I utilize times all the time on free trials. So like an example of that would be, hey, you're going to do a round and then I want you to rest 1 minute, right? When you do that, you got to be careful that you don't accidentally make them do a 20-minute workout and then class had a 12-minute workout because all their minutes of rest added up. So you're going to scale that round down with that minute rest that they're going to land with class finishing round 1. Does that make sense? Obviously, that would be an extreme degree of somebody that's very deconditioned that would need that. But just you have those things in your back pockets. Questions or thoughts on scaling?
So I feel like, I mean, depending who's in class, obviously, I kind of get like, should I go to them individually because it's just one person and tell them that, or should I tell it to the entire group? Like, because I feel like sometimes if that's the case, you can take longer than 3 or 4 minutes, which is your goal for your whiteboard brief.
I would say it depends. So like in the example that you're saying, what I'm understanding is if you have somebody that's an extreme case, right? And I've got scaling option A, B, C, and you go, okay, Nate isn't gonna fit into A, B, C. Nate needs a Nate scaling option. That's what you mean, right? Like for somebody like that, I think you can go to them to the side and definitely tell them. I don't think you have to layer that into the warm up. If you have any doubt that someone else may need it, then you can like definitely do that. I think that's just a personal preference move. I think that's a stylistic move, just depending on what you want to do there. I think also going to them and maybe talking to them quietly on the side could also save some embarrassment, just in case. Like you just never know. Like everyone looks around and goes, "Who's going to do the banded pull down because they can't hang from the bar?" You know, they're going to be able to pick that person out, so you can save them that too. So I would say stylistic, but that's probably the best route. Strategy now starts to become an optional, right? You just said, I don't want to go over that like 3-4 minute mark. We definitely don't, because if we talk too much and we go over that 3-4 minute mark, I lost them. They're gone. So strategy is just like, how well did I get through what I just got through? If I got through that pretty quick and it was very clear, then go ahead and layer strategy. I like that. I think athletes like that. People are going to ask too. I think if you get to the point, you will always have time for strategy. Sometimes strategy can be tricky at the whiteboard because you may have athlete A that you're like, oh, he should do Karen in 3 sets. And then is that a good idea to say out loud? Absolutely not. Right. So you may have a very vague strategy, but then still need to go for person in person and be like, you know, hey, Jose, I seen your wall ball shots. You should try to get this done in X and go unbroken, right? That may be a really good idea for him and a really bad idea for everyone else. So even though you give strategy, it's very vague, it's very general. You still coach people individually as you go through that specific warm up and they're loading bars and they're getting prepped. Let them know, hey, this is what I want you to do today. And then last but not least, questions. Questions is my favorite because questions is, did I do a pretty good job? If everyone's like, we're good, I know I covered all points. If someone raises their hand, I'm like, fuck, I probably missed something or I didn't think of something. That being said, there's always that person, no matter how perfect you lay it up, they're like, when do I do the push-ups? And you're like, nope, no push-ups in today's WOD ever, you know? And like, you just have those people sometimes. So you'll know who those people are when you see them time and time again. They just always have something. But that being said, judge how well you did off of how many questions you get. You get 5 questions, reanalyze everything you just said because you missed something somewhere. I had a guy raise his hand this morning and go, you're going to show us what all that is, right? Great time for a joke. I was like, no. Yeah, obviously, right? So sometimes questions are so irrelevant that had nothing to do with how well my whiteboard brief is. On the question front, we have to immediately establish as a coach, is this a real question? Is this legitimate that the group can benefit for? Or is this like a personal bias question? Do you guys know what I mean by that? Can you kind of think of that? So sometimes somebody will go, what's a real question? Should I go unbroken on the barbell? That could be a personal one kind of too. Or like the question is specifically related on how to execute or is very related to one of the scaling options you gave versus you have somebody else that goes, do we have to run today? That's like a bias because you don't like running type questions. So if it's a question that is going to benefit the group, answer it there. If it's one of those questions that's just, I'm being an asshole today and I don't want to run, so I'm going to give you a hard time, just be like, all right, guys, to your stations. Like, you don't have to, like, you don't have to be an ass like that, but you don't have to sit there and entertain and waste the group's time on a question that is not really a question. So you guys always have, you probably have experienced something like that. And then you can always go to that person and answer it or banter with them, depending on what is said. Questions or thoughts on that?
So I still have problems.
Whiteboard. What do you got problem with? I like problems.
I got a lot of questions at the end.
Yeah.
I'd say it different times. I'm like, is it my English? Is it that I'm not explaining? So I go and what I do is I use the whiteboard. We have screens, but I take the whiteboard and I write it down, big numbers, and I put all the scaling options and I put all the variations. But still, I don't know, maybe it's because it's 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Those are the classes that people are not really there.
All over.
Yeah. But I still get a lot of questions at I don't explain strategies or anything. I just give the scaling options and then I make them do a test before they what, and when they are tired because of the test, then I take that time. Okay, I'm gonna explain the strategies and everything. That's when I put it. But still, I get
when they're quiet.
yeah, when they are okay, we're doing I pretty much we're doing a minute. If you don't finish this under a minute, you're scaling. So that's it.
Real
So I
quick before you go to your next statement, don't forget your next statement. This is what I'll say. One, I don't know what you're doing because I haven't seen it. So record one, send it on over to the group. You can send it to me and we'll talk about it and look at it. What I will say is I'm interning a girl at my gym right now, right? And she's checking her boxes really well of flow, stimulus, scaling, strategy questions. She's doing a good job at what we need in the anatomy of a whiteboard brief. However, she's a kindergarten teacher. So there's this prolonged talk sometimes, and I think it makes people check out. So I told her, I was like, hey, get to the point. Like, it's adults. They're not 4-year-olds anymore. Like, you can get to the point. So like, that's one thing she's working on that I think makes people check out. The other thing with her is she's like, let's get about 7 to 9 minutes. And when we're squatting, we should like about do 10%. And I'm like, stop giving grace. Give absolutes in everything you do. It's not about 7 to 10 minutes. It's 7 to 10 minutes. It's not about 10 reps per set. I want you to do 10 reps per set. So those things can help clear stuff up for you. Just being very to the point and make sure you're not going, you're not doing, um's the worst one. You're not saying, about, this is my thing, right? Dee called me out on the other day. I think, right? All of those things are taking away from your expertise and causing question and thoughts that shouldn't be there sometimes for them. The other thing I'll say is I'm very fast. So I'll blitz through an entire whiteboard brief in 60 seconds. I'm talking like I'm talking to y'all that you get it. And my problem is I maybe was perfect on my execution, but I was like an Indy 500. And the new person's like, that was information overload. So like you may be going quick. Talk, say what you're going to say, pause. Talk, say what you're going to say, pause. So sometimes slowing it down could be a thing to do there too. Damn it, I did it. Instead of saying, try to pause. It's really, really hard. I know everybody probably.
Yeah, now that you said it, it's like I said a lot of I said a lot. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm losing their attention when I do that. I do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so try it. You're not going to get it right the first 50 times. That's okay. But try to just become aware of it. So, hey guys, that was a perfect example. I paused and I said, hey guys, instead of going, hey guys. Hey guys, we're doing 21, 15, 9, 21 thrusters, 15, messed up my brief, 21 thrusters, 21 pull-ups, 15, 15, 9, 9, so on and so forth. I want you to see how I paused. I want you to get this workout done in 3 to 6 minutes. The way we're going to do that, and that'll help just make things a lot more clear. Art form, getting those ums and things out. It's public speaking is one of the hardest things to do, but becoming aware is good. Have a buddy in class and make them be like give you a cue every time you say so you start to become more aware of it. Right? I gave my intern a cue that every time she sees me walk around with a PVC pipe, she calls me Moses. Right?
Yeah.
Works. It's funny. We both laugh at it, but it calls me out from something I'm not supposed to be doing. So have somebody, it doesn't matter if they're a level 4 or they're not, they've never coached a class. You go, hey, I just want you to look for this and yell at me every time I do it. And it'll get you to the point and becomes aware.
Now that you said, there's I don't know where I read it. Like a coach shouldn't be having anything in the hands, neither phones or PVC.
Nothing.
But what I do is that, and they call me the old lady. Well, mainly Andrea, because now that I don't have anything, I walk around like this. So I walk
You don't know
around
what to
like,
do with your hands.
yeah, I don't know what I'm
Which
doing
is
with
it.
my hands. So I walking around and you can see the videos. Oh, look at the old lady.
He's reacting because he got this feedback at one point in time, and it's not pleasant feedback necessarily, but it was correct feedback. You look a little more unapproachable and mean like this, right? So this is what I'll say. Hands in the pockets aren't great either. Put your hands behind your back. Yeah, it gives you something to do. You know what I mean? You kind of hold your hands behind where your butt is. It gives you something to do with them, but you are a lot more open and you look a lot more friendly. I get you. I like holding some shit in my hands too. That's why I walk around with a PVC pipe, and I like to get excited and bang it on the floor when someone does something good, and it takes away from my rally stick. But my mentor was right. The other day, I had my damn PVC pipe in my hand, and I was filming a video for him, so I was like level 4ing them. I was really locking in, and I had to tactile cue somebody, and I almost poked them in the damn head with it because I was trying to hold it. And then I had to throw it because I realized I was messing up. So I threw it to the side and I'm like, this whole interaction was just so dumb because I had a PVC pipe in, right? A drink, obviously, probably eventually spill your drink on yourself or somebody else. Like really anything. I did hear a tip one time that was like, if you really struggle from this and you really have an issue, hold a marker. because the marker's small and it's like at least you downgraded from a 6 foot PVC to, you know, a 5 inch pen. And then eventually just try to get rid of that too. So it's almost like weaning off rather than going cold turkey.
Yep.
It's hard though. I have days that I'm like, yes, I did it. I put the PVC pipe down. And then the next day I'm walking around slamming it everywhere. And I'm like, I did it again. Totally normal. Old lady. I'm gonna change her Zoom name to that.
So the other thing that I was going to say is that I have a couple of people that even if I told them the stimulus, hey, you need to finish in this time cap and this, they want to go heavy and do the time cap. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write down. I was talking to other people. I was like other coaches, and I'm saying, what I'm going to do is go back to the beginnings. I remember what this feels like. You put all the names, put all the times, and when someone did not finish, you put DNF. Back in the day, that hurt. That
very
hurt
effective.
when you got a
And you know
DNF.
what's gonna happen? You're gonna go, Jose, what'd you get? And you go, no score. And you go, okay, DNF or okay, cap. Is it a dick move? It's a little bit of a dick move for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have asshole people occasionally, and you got to be a little bit of an asshole back because what's good for them. It's a tough love. There's a line to that. Obviously, we got to stay professional. But you're right. That does hurt. That's a reason why having scores on a whiteboard can partly be very effective, right? It's one of the many reasons. This is what I'll say too. It can be a little bit of a cultural thing to get people to take a step back to do what's right. So when we're going through our class, if I've got Deanna in class and Deanna doesn't listen to me and I know she's going to go too heavy on that front squat, I'm going to go in a little harder on coaching. And I'm sorry for the rest of y'all, but I'm going to coach his call front squats with load on. So we're going to do my barbell front squats, add load, guys. We're going to do another set on me. And as we go through that set, I know it's coming because I know her and she starts to do with her torso, take weight off. So now it's like you're pinpointing them and you're showing them why this is a problem. And then I think building education on that, like, hey man, I know you want to get fitter. My job is to make you a much fitter person. But if you keep doing this on your front squats, you're not going to PR your cleans as a position. We got to get you positionally stronger to not only PR your front squat, but your clean and your snatch and nerd out on them and start going down the line of why you're actually making yourself a less fit person, because that is what happens. I've been working out 14 years in CrossFit. I've pissed away about 11 of them, right? Probably more. I've probably 12 of them because I was just so worried. I wasn't addicted to the coach. I just want to throw that out there. I listened to the coach and we told him to scale, but I was so worried about just loading things up and just if I got it stood up, it counted. Who fucking cares what it looks like? That I think I am a less fit person than I could have been if I would have just done things right. Also just didn't know, and I don't think I had the coaches to actually teach me that either. So I had to just learn the real hard way. So spread some knowledge and get a little tough lovey on them and make them work in the class to prove to you that it's right. Lisa Ray had a really, really good statement, probably the favorite statement I heard in a long time. She goes, intensity is not given to you. And you only get intensity if it's earned. You have to prove to me that you can earn the right to have intensity, whether that's speed or load, through mechanics and consistency. If you cannot earn that with me, you don't get to do it. I know that's very extreme, right? Seminar staff, level 4, flow master, all in. But I was like, damn, that's fucking actually spot on. That's what we're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Telling somebody to rip load off a barbell never has really worked very well with me, and they kind of just blow a bubble at you. So like trying to make them make the choice without them realizing that you're actually making the choice for them is a good way to do it. Those progressions and things like that is how they make the choice, but it's really not. I made it for them. I just showed them why this is a bad idea. So try that next time, Jose. And don't focus on the time cap in the brief. When they ask, be like, this is what we focus on today and move on. And if they go, oh, fuck him, Why? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it shouldn't be like that anyway. Um, see if that helps a little bit.
So kind of along those lines, there have been some situations where somebody just, is looking to get stronger or whatever. So I kind of change I let them like go a little bit heavier, even
You give them a little
though,
custom stimulus.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
Mhm.
There's times like we had a workout the other day that had a lot of box step ups in it. And I was like, hey guys, if doing the 24-inch box and 250s, you can do it, but it's a hard time and you want to work on more of a strength stimulus, we can do that. And I let like some people did 6 heavy box step ups around, and then other people did 12 around. Both groups landed in my time, so my timeline didn't get fucked up. So doing that can be an okay thing to do sometimes, or individually talking to somebody and giving them like an individual stimulus totally can be an okay thing to do. What I would say is where you have to be careful is it can't be the wild west of everybody just wants to do always what they want to do every day, and 10 out of 10 are all doing something different. That's where it's a problem. So it's a little give and take, right? I'm captain of the class, I'm making the choices, but we can talk about it, and I can compromise sometimes. I don't want to compromise 24/7 because then I create this new virus that I didn't want to exist. So it's an ebb and flow of it, I would say. It's like the
Yeah,
art in it.
I think it goes with, getting to know everyone because you know what their
100%.
goals really are. That's where relationships kind of drive you like to make
Totally.
those choices for them.
I totally agree with that. So yeah, I really 100% am okay with that. And like to Jose, what you were saying about those numbers that give you a really hard time, you never know. Maybe they are like, dude, I just want to get really strong. That's what I'm really trying to focus on. I don't know that that's the case, but knowing that if it was somebody like Jose's dealing with, and you go, okay, now I understand why you're just like, fuck you, I'm going to do RX every time anyway. You can work with them, and now it is a compromise. They're going to work with you as a coach, and you're going to work with them as an athlete. That being said, I have dealt with somebody that it did not matter what you did, they were going to do it. And the issue that I ran into it was that individual started fucking up their back. And so it started to get to a point in time where, like, dude, no, you think you know better, but you're going to hurt yourself. I think sometimes the owner's got to have your back on certain people, and there needs to be an actual like sit down. Because, like, do you want to just let John Doe run through your gym and do whatever they want and then have an injury? Because what are they going to do? They're going to get upset. They're going to quit the gym. They have the potential to write a review. They're going to go tell people CrossFit's bad for them. And in reality, they're never doing it good. So there is situations, depending on the degree, that head coach and owner or someone needs to sit that person down and be like, hey, man, this is what we do here. Maybe this isn't for you. And I know that sounds extreme, but cutting out cancers are a thing sometimes. Usually, if that member is bothering, I think Ackerman put this the other day, that member's bothering you, there's a chance that member's bothering other members. And it's probably pretty accurate. We've got somebody right now at our gym that's kind of an asshole. He says off comments to people all the time. And someone the other day came up to me and they're like, I don't like him. He says inappropriate things. And I'm like, God, that guy was driving me crazy. And I thought everybody was cool with him. And now I'm finding out other people are like, no, I don't want to even work out by him. So you get to see, like, usually it does ripple. That's an extreme case. But all right, back to our whiteboard brief. If done well, we've established expectations. If I've established expectations, that's going to make my life a lot easier as a coach because I don't have 10, what am I doing for scaling, or fighting people on scaling and making good decisions. I can set the tone, obviously, being enthusiastic, being hype, like go into class on a high energetic note rather than going into class on a low energetic note. I see that happen all the time where coaches are like, all right, guys, grab PVC pipe. Let's do 15 pass throughs. And then it's silent. for 45 seconds while they do 15 passes. And I'm like, this sucks. Like, no one's talking. Like, this is terrible. Get people's juices flowing and lived up with you with that whiteboard so that doesn't happen. In the article, she wrote about class cohesion and accountability. I added like standards to that too, because if I'm making Jose, Deanna, Holly, and Cayman squat depth, Gina needs a squat depth too, right? We don't exempt anybody. It's fair game. It's inclusive across the board because we have a standard that we are all going to uphold. I think once that gets in everyone's head, that standard is the standard, and it doesn't matter if you're dying or not. We need to fulfill it. It starts to get to a point. I'm kind of experiencing this in my classes now, where you don't have to banter and continue to tell people to get lower, lower, lower. They come to my class and they go, Nate's going to make me squat depth. And they just don't even fuck with it. They squat depth. Sometimes it takes some time to get going. And then the last thing I got down for the actual whiteboard brief, I kind of said early, is get to the point. We don't need to have all this extra feelings and information. Get to the point. What's the point? The flow. How long does it need to take me? What my scaling option is, strategy, questions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I've got 3 minutes to get this thing done ideally. So I can't really stick around and say, best hour of their day. Give a shout out to them. They did something I really like, and they talked about getting to the point. They said if anyone's ever rambling on too much, they would do this too. And it's the point of the triangle, get to the point, right? Or if it was a Zoom call, they would message a triangle and it was get to the point. Okay, like what I was saying earlier, find a friend, you know, Jose's gonna have the friend that's gonna call him out on maybe or whatever it is, and someone's gonna call me out on my thinks. Someone can do that too. You start to ramble a little bit, they're like, you can have a member do it. You could use that for your specific warm-ups too. How many of us talk a lot when we're teaching? You could be honest. You may think you don't talk a lot. I would be willing to guess 6 out of 6 people on this call probably talk too much on teaching. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the other day I was ripping one-liners, and a couple times I said 2 sentences and I got told you need to talk less by my mentor. People are there to move, right? So you want, hey guys, this is what it looks like. Do your demo. I want you to focus on squeezing your butt before your arm pulls. All right, ready? Let's set up. That's it. That's all we're supposed to actually do. So it could be something like that, that if you know you're a talker and going too much, find a friend that gives you the triangle. Any other thoughts, questions on the whiteboard brief? Cool. I think one of the most important points of class. I think class can go very well if done very right, or it can go not so well and a little chaotic if skipped or not done well at all. Move on to injuries. Thank you for making me remember that. Injuries. I do not ask them to the group in front of class. And I'm going to say why, because it kind of sets a precedent. Oh, we CrossFitters. So I'm expecting someone to be injured, right? I don't want to set the idea that as a coach, I'm expecting someone to be injured. I'm not. If we're moving well, no one should be injured ever. Crazy shit happens, but no one should be injured ever. So I don't want to start classes with, does anybody have any injuries? Or if anyone's injured, let me know. Because if I got a free trial that has been convinced by their son to start CrossFit because it can lower their blood pressure and take them out of chronic disease, and they were like, no, it's dangerous. And I lead off class. Does anybody have any injuries? I just told that guy's mom, I'm expecting it, and oh shit, this is dangerous. I kind of confirmed her worst fear. So as far as injuries goes, that's where I really try to, the pre-class, make my way around and chat with somebody, and then look for signs. Sometimes you're gonna have that dog that his shoulder's jacked up and he shouldn't be kipping, and he ain't gonna tell you because he wants to kip today, and he's just gonna go through pain. And every time he comes off the bar, he's like, look for that, right? They'll tell you they're injured immediately when they start moving if you're looking for it, even if they don't. So just those combos and side things, try to pull it out then. Um, you could probably word it in a way, like if you wanted to say something that because your gym's very used to you asking, you could probably word it in a way to where you don't say injuries. So maybe like, does anybody have any questions? Cool. If you got any concerns, let me know as we start our general warm up. So I didn't say anything about injuries, but like it could be a concern of, oh, I don't want to run 400. I'm not going to make it in time. But it could be a uninjury related concern. But if someone was injured and you kind of wanted to broadcast it, you broadcasted it now in a way that's not saying like, is someone injured? Does that make sense? I just think you don't want to plant that seed in people's mind that we're expected to be heard at some point in time because we do this, which is kind of like a little bit of that message that we're giving.
So that makes sense, but I'm thinking, what if it's somebody that's, brand spanking new and you have like 20 people in class? It's kind of hard to go to everybody before class and ask them about
If
that.
you've got someone that's brand spanking new, I think they're probably toward the list of priority of like a drive-by quick combo than Jose that's been a member for 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
but what
my
if they
take on
don't?
it.
Yeah,
The
but they
other
don't.
thing is, the other thing is while I'm giving my general warm up, so let's say there's 20 people in class. Let's say you had a quick little tidbit with 10 of them. Could have just been a hi, hey Holly, how you doing? We just quickly interact, right? And it's fast. Let's say you got 10 of them. You start your general warm up, right? At some point in time, they're going to be maybe a little slowed down, or let's say they're doing today. I ran a clock with butt kicks, high knees, and jumping jacks to start off the first minute. I could walk over and be like, "Hey, what's up, Deanna? How you doing today?" I can still walk around during the general and kind of check in with people, which we should continue to be doing anyway. Too many times does the general warm up get like the box checked and we don't do anything, right? You should either be coaching the hell out of it, fixing people's positions, or if you're not, and it's something like a butt kick, that could be the time to go around or talk and create, some rapport with people. So it shouldn't be, this is my biggest thing. I hate it. It shouldn't be silence while I just wait for y'all to finish. I'm just being lazy. Is it comfortable to create conversation out of those hard times? 1000%, right? I used to be really bad at it. Gotten better over the years with time under tension. So just trying to create either conversation or you're going around kind of coaching it. Because if you're going around coaching it and I'm like, hey, push your knees out hard, and you're like, I'm trying, but my hip hurts. Boom, I got it there. So you'll kind of find those things out. Or if I'm wincing, you got it there. You can be like, hey, what's wrong? So you have time before, and you have time still before we're on that barbell ripping or on that pull-up bar ripping. You just have to be a little diligent at times, I would say. All right. We've got about 10 minutes. I'm going to try to get as far as this as I want because this is a tricky one and this could go a long way. The second article I posted wasn't an amazing article by any means, but it was about coaching all levels of athletes in college, right? And last week I made the comment that you should try to actually coach the more veteran athlete more than the new person, right? The veteran athlete is fighting for PRs and fighting for gains. And it's these little nuancey tweaks that we need to make in them to have them PRs. The new person is going to have newbie gains through the ceiling. See, Holly, thanks for coming today. Right? I don't need the new person to be getting hammered on every point of performance and trying to perfect them. And then I ignore the other 9 people in class. The new person, simple it down, have them work on literally one thing, and they're going to get better today, right? If there's someone that cannot show you safety, like we've had those people that cannot figure out how to hip hinge. Have you guys ever experienced that person? They just brain don't know how to talk to it yet. You take that movement and you simplify it so much to the point they can't fuck it up, right? Don't be afraid to do that. That may be what they need. Plan. We've talked about lesson planning 1,000 times. If you have a plan, you will be fine, right? When I say plan, I don't just mean hey, we're doing snatch today. Here's my progression: snatch deadlift, snatch high pull, muscle snatch, power snatch. Right? That's a plan. That's going to work for everybody. I did not necessarily have a note on brand new person that's never touched the barbell, that ain't going to be able to get into a good bottom position, things like that. So having a little sub plan of maybe it's dumbbell, or maybe if I have a person that cannot get into good position and I try 2 times, hey, we're going to do high hang today. I'm going to get his back totally vertical so he can't fuck it up. You're going to do the same thing, but you're just going to work from this little dip and jump, right? So have plans, within progressions to have the extreme people fit. That may be an elite athlete that we're doing a ring muscle up progression, and they go to the high rings faster and they're actually going to do strict muscle ups. Or that may be the athlete that just literally needs to do ring rows and knee push-ups. That's okay. How many of you guys get anxiety from stuff like that? Oh my God, I have 10 athletes doing a low ring progression, and I've got one athlete that can't do the low ring progression. So I'm going to have them do push-ups and, ring rows, right? It's kind of stressful. It stresses me out. This is what I'll say. If you have standards, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that, and you have your North Star that's always going to guide you in what to do, we always have our answer. Rely on that. What I'll say by that is, right, we have rules. What's one of them? Strict before kipping. If I have someone that cannot show me competence or strict strength, I don't want them jumping up on a ring and doing a jumping fence. So if I use my North Star of the rule of strict before kipping, I always have something to fall back on, and I always have a guide that takes out of my emotion. Does that make sense? So if we can layer those things out, and what is the right thing to do? If I had Dave Castro and Nicole Carroll and all these people at my gym and Chuck Carswell watching my class, what would they be proud of, or what would they be not so proud of actions I take? If you use the standards that we know are in place and the systems that we know are in place to guide us, we never have to make an emotional decision, right? It just is what's right. I don't like telling athletes sometimes, hey, you got to develop strength before you're sitting here flailing on the bar with your kip swings and trying to do a kipping pull up that you cannot even get halfway up on, but you're trying to do it. And I know you want to do it, but you've never done a pull up in your life and you can barely hang from the bar. That's not going to go well, right? What are they going to do? They're just going to do 30 no reps of these terrible pull ups. They know they're not getting their chin over the bar. So let a guide you and be like, we're going to get you there. Does that make sense? It's not always the funnest, most fun conversation, but we can't let our personal fears and emotional, our feelings in like that human side of things, we can't let that always guide and dictate us. It's not fun telling someone to squat low. We've all been there. Don't lie about it. We've all questioned whether I should tell Andrea to squat low. Not Andrea, later. She just do something in my head, right? Do it. That's what real caring is, right? We got to blend tough love, and we got to blend, I don't want to hurt your feelings. We got to bring those two together, and that's what real caring.
Yeah, I wanted to add something.
Go ahead.
So I heard from this level 3, or I don't know, that the next level everyone should get the stimulus and everyone should get their scaling option. But the next level, it's giving them the intention, like an individuality thing that each one of you should have. And while I was hearing this, I was remembering moments that my coach made me feel like, oh wow, this is about me. There's a big class and this is about me. It's like,
Spot on.
I remember like, what did you do last Fran? And I was like, oh, I did this and I break 15 in this and this. Okay, your intention for today is going to do that 15 unbroken. I don't care how you break the 21. I don't care how you break the 9. I just want you to focus on the 15. And then I felt like, oh my God, I have a goal now for this class. And I was remembering this and like, okay, so I was like, Okay, I don't
So,
think
so
I've
spot
given
on.
intention to everyone.
Sorry. I learned how to mute Zoom calls just now. It was falling out of my ear. On a daily basis, it's very hard to give a goal like that, right? We don't have Fran to fall back on and be like, what's the last time you did this one? But we do have recent ones that you can be like, hey, last Monday when we had those 30 cal bikes, did you get off of that in 2 minutes? You know, like just simple things like that. Or was that bad? And you can kind of use just recent. I do it a lot with more recent stuff. I use that as gauges. What I will say is for me, it's really easy to be like, you know, how are the kettlebell swings on Helen? I'm like, oh, those are great for me. Most people, you can't do that anymore. They're like, what the fuck is Helen? You know, but that is super spot on. Finding those individual goes. That's why I like, you know, when Dee was talking about what if I have an athlete that wants to get stronger? And, you know, is it a good idea to kind of give them a little bit of their own personal goal and intent? That's kind of the same thing. Now, you know, you got 20 people in class and you just went to person Z that you're like, I know you want to get stronger. Hey, I want you to do this today and do all 6 of these box step ups unbroken. Same thing, right? Um, I have members do that when they're unsure on weight and they kind of move well, but they're like, I don't know, it's making it hard. I'm like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to hang on to these dumbbells. You're going to go unbroken the whole time because you are going lighter. Right. And, you know, that gives little challenges and goes too. But yeah, that is, I think that is great advice. Um, remember, CrossFit wasn't a group class. I don't know if you guys know that. When CrossFit started, it was not a group class then. Greg Glassman was training people one-on-one on the side. Eventually realized this thing could work well and I can help more people if we do a group class. So in our group classes, we are not F45, we are not Orange Theory. They are group one-on-one sessions. That's how a class should be. Every single person should have their scaling option, their modification, their goal, all the way through. Their interaction with you, where they feel good, their, hey, Jose, I'll see you tomorrow, right? All of those things matter, right? You would never not say bye to your one-on-one clients. Terrible business practice. That should not change in the class. So kind of keep that in mind and really easy checklists you can do. Have another coach, even a member that just loves it and wants to hang around. You just write on a piece of paper everybody's name and hey, I want you to put a tally every time I interact with somebody. They don't need to even know whether you're cueing them or you're saying, Jose, I like that shirt. That doesn't matter. What all they need to know is your interactions, and you'll be surprised. You'll get someone that you're like, wow, I crushed this. I got 10, 10, 10, 10, 0. It happens, right? And then you ask yourself, what was up with that 0? Did I just drop the ball or was that 0 around the corner where I couldn't see them and I forgot? That's happened to me too. So I think that's a really good evaluation tool that whoever's evaluating needs to know absolutely nothing about coaching and you can get better from it. So use that stuff. Thank you for bringing that up. It was a great point. I talked about plans and having your progressions and have progressions within progressions. The other day we had a guy for bar muscle ups, can't even really hang from the bar. So I can't do a kipping pull up, obviously. I can't really do I'm extremely limited. I can do jumping. I don't feel good about jumping because he's really large. I don't think it's super safe for him to do that. I had him do like a low bar banded toenail spot. So his feet were always on the floor. It got to a point where that started to become too much. So I had in my plan banded lat pull downs and it was like boom, boom, boom. And that plan for him saved me from being like, okay, hold on. You know what I mean? So just having that stuff, even though 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have that person in class, will save you and make you look like an expert, not only to them, but to everybody else as well. I know it's very redundant. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and you won't have to brainstorm ideas. You'll just be like boom, 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 and you'll kind of have that in your toolkit. New people, I said it early, one thing at a time, right? I don't need them to have a perfect snatch from the ground into a full squat. I just maybe need him to understand the concept from a high hang that he's going to jump and punch the bar hard. getting some of those reps are like the little kid hitting off a T-ball when he's learning how to hit a ball with a baseball bat. Right. And then from there, I'm like, all right, yeah, you're touching really good. That's nice. You're a natural at this. Now, when you land, I want you to land in a quarter squat. It looks like this. And I add to it. As soon as she does one right, I'm like, holy shit. I was like, oh, you're getting this faster than anybody I've ever had. Right. Because they probably felt like they were not getting it. And then they go, I don't know if it's just really nice or I'm really good at this. Could be either one. Right. So just being really enthusiastic when that time comes on that elite, very loose quote, elite athlete, the better athlete in class, dissect them. Heels, knees, hip extension, external rotation to shoulder. Go 1 by 1. Find their what's the saying? The chink in their armor, right? That's how you see those people move. And then the last thing I've got for balancing your new athlete with your veterans, move. You gotta move your ass. If you're just generally staying in the same spot or the same region, you have missed so many people. It's not even just the new athlete versus old. Think of a pattern that you can walk safely in your gym, and that pattern is on repeat. And then when you've done it 10 times, go in reverse because you probably accidentally timed it to where Deanna always picked her barbell up on the EMOM, and I was always on the other side of the gym by her than Jose was on. So when you got your loop and your pattern, go the other way. So you kind of mix it up or stop for a minute. So you change the timing of where you are, depending on what the workout is. And then you can move the other direction. Have you guys ever noticed that when you are moving well, that you accidentally land in the same spot when the person's on the same movement and you never land in that spot while the person's on the other movement? So get a pattern going, rock that for a bit, and then just throw a curveball in it and reverse it or do something weird so you get other eyes. Sounds dumb, but a lot of coaches don't move that much. They kind of stay in a spot. Or they just move like back and forth in one path and they never really get past everybody. Have your patterns, you walk past everybody. All right, questions, thoughts? I'm bringing it home, statements for the day. Awesome. Just something to walk away from today. I got real fired up from the affiliate summit. Y'all have your back end gym sales going on, right? Your owners, your head coaches, whoever it is, you are working very hard to have free trials come in and then selling those free trials. Sometimes we drop the ball very bad on keeping the members happy that we have, right? And PushPress put a little analytic up that most gyms average have a 9% churn rate, which means 9% of people are leaving fairly quickly. I don't remember what the months were, but it was fairly quickly. That's horrible, right? A 5% churn with those members leaving is good for a CrossFit gym. In any other profession in the world, whoever's in charge would be fired today, right? A 1% churn rate is really not that good either. It needs to be under a percentage for most industries. So 5% in CrossFit isn't crazy. A 1% increase brings your gym almost $20,000 a year in extra revenue. Improving your churn by 3% brings close, this is average, close to an extra $100,000 in revenue. I'm telling you guys this because you guys are the faces of your gym. You guys are the #1 retention tool. The product, the way you care about people, as simple as, hey guys, I'll see you on Thursday's call. I do that every week. I want to see you on Thursday's call. I love these. But that's a call to action for you guys to be here Thursday, right? If I stop seeing you guys, I get concerned you're not going to be here anymore. So saying, hi, Deanna, see you tomorrow. Put in her head, I'm expecting her to come to the gym tomorrow. If she goes, I can't tomorrow. All right, it's Wednesday. Follow the next day. So all of those things, those buys, your product, that is your gym retention. And when it gets to the point where you're like, I'm busting my ass, I think I deserve $30 a class or whatever. You want the gym to have the money to go, absolutely. That's not unreasonable. You don't want them to be like, ah, I don't know if I can. That's why I'm leaving you guys with this. That can potentially bleed into y'all making, I know we love what we do, but we want to get paid too. We deserve to get paid. We're professionals. You're taking an hour out of your day, paying for this call to be on here. You deserve to get compensated well, right? And those things ripple into that stuff for one owner, right? I'm going to pay the guy that I see making that effort. I'm not going to pay the guy that doesn't give a fuck about it. I will leave you guys on that. And I will see you guys on Thursday.
See you, man. Take care.
See y'all.